Tucker, Jim Evans. I will give them the floor in just a second. Here's what we're going to do is they're going to go through the presentation, walk through the presentation. So hold your questions, hold your thoughts until after it. But be jotting down what it is that you want to ask them, because this is your opportunity to get clarification. All your questions should be what we call clarifying questions. And so you have that opportunity at the end. We'd like to try to hopefully have this kind of finished by 7 or 7:15. And then we'll move on to this. Two really great people here. I'm going to have Jim and Janelle introduce themselves and what they've done from a career standpoint, and then we'll move right into the presentation. Okay?
Hi everybody. Tom told us that today after we're done you guys are doing what, your 2-minute presentations, so I'm sure you're all focused on this presentation we're going to do, and if I see all of you mumbling, I'll assume it's just repeating the really insightful comments we made, and you're not practicing. When I was 12 I thought I'd be this kind of Cub Scout.
There might be a couple that are that way. I'll tap them on the shoulder when that happens.
My name is Jim Evans, and why don't we do the quick intros and then we'll get into the presentation. So I manage payment operations at Fifth Third Bank, and payment operations includes, and these are some of the things we'll talk about, it includes Lockbox, it includes a product called, that really is cash management, which if you go into a 7-Eleven, you see a machine and people are sticking money into it. They're those kind of safe devices that we sell. We have about 10,000 of those around the country. I've got a commercial call center, which Janelle runs. Treasury Management products, which we're going to talk about, and implementing those. Janelle runs those worlds. And I have the cash vaults. So for our footprint, I actually have 8 cash vaults where we actually, just like the old days, where they store money, which is pretty cool. To be surrounded by like $9 million at the time is really kind of neat. And then, just a little background, I have been in banking for about 30-some years. I'm a native of Ohio. I went to Wittenberg undergrad. By training, I'm an attorney. I went to law school at Vanderbilt, practiced law about half of my career, and I got into operations after that. And I have a professional master's of banking from LSU. So that's my quick summary.
All right, I'm Janelle Tucker. Jim mentioned what I do today. I have the implementations team under payment operations at Fifth Third, and then our commercial support center, which also supports all of our retail business banking clients. From a career projection standpoint or history standpoint, I actually started in the Air Force out of high school, went to college at Fayetteville State, which is part of UNC, for a bachelor's in computer science. I'm an IT major by trade, spent 16 years in IT. Came to Fifth Third in 2003 and really bounced it back between the IT departments and the operations department. I have my PMP for project management, my Six Sigma green belt, so I focus a lot on process improvement. So it's great to be able to take those process structure techniques across the organization. And I think just a plug for in any company, I think there's a lot of value in crossing divisions. I think it's really good for us to populate one division with people that truly understand what's going on and the challenges in another. So it's been good for me.
And I think we are evidence and proof that there is life after both IT and being lawyers. You can get useful, meaningful jobs.
And who knows, maybe we'll both be back one day.
Yeah, and so Janelle's world is about 200 people roughly?
Yeah, 240.
240, and my world's about 750 right now. Okay? All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit, and I'm going to apologize up front. My experience with explaining treasury management to people is a lot of people have a hard time understanding, and it's just because of their experiences in life. Unless you've really been in the situation, sometimes you can lose sight of what these products are. So I'm going to start real simplistically. If I offend anybody with how simplistic my examples are, I apologize. But I think you'll see as we build the rest of the presentation that understanding those real simple things will help you understand some of the other things we're going to talk about. Okay? So here's our agenda, just to show you that we thought this all through. I'm not going to read it now. All right. Treasury Management. I know some of you guys had the opportunity to go on our website and read about Treasury Management. But let me start with some real simple examples before we go. So think about a 7-Eleven or United United Dairy, whatever it is. Think about a store like that. At the end of the day, the manager has a bunch of cash that he's received. You know, it's in his register. What's he going to do with it? In most of history, retail history, the manager or somebody else would put it in a bag and take it to a night drop at a local branch. Wasn't particularly safe, safety issues, and the bank did not get credit until, it wasn't considered a deposit until the next day when the money was processed. So we actually offer a product, these device machines, these safe machines, where the store manager can, like an ATM, you can insert the money. The machines are connected to Fifth Third's system. We at a bank give immediate deposit credit as soon as that money goes into there. It's much safer. The customer does not have to go to a night drop. We will arrange, depending on the product we have, either the customer or we will arrange to pick that up with the Brinks or Loomis armored truck. So handling that real simple cash at the end of the day is one of our treasury management products. Just to go back a little, they're called Treasury Management because historically these are all the functions that dealt with cash that treasurers departments and companies generally held. So that's why it's Treasury Management. Now, let's say that you are a cable company and you've got, well, let's use an example. My history, before I was at Fifth Third, I was with one of the national credit card companies. We had 45 million customers. Every month we would send out 45 million statements, which meant every month I was going to get back in. In the early 2000s, we were getting back in about 90% paper still. So let's say I'm getting back in 40 million checks a month. What are you going to do with that 40? There's $40 million or 40 million pieces of paper. You've got to process them. And somebody has to actually run the P.O. box that gets those checks. Those P.O. boxes and the functions that go with that are a lockbox. I've got 300 people in my team that do lockbox services. So what we do is we get the check. We have a big cable customer. We get their monthly payment checks. They are customers of ours, so they have this commercial customer has bank accounts with us. We create a deposit ticket at the end of the day, aggregate all those check amounts, and create a deposit ticket so that the company gets immediate deposit credit for the cash that came in that day through check. Okay? That's what a lockbox is. Now, we also have to create a file that we send back to the customer so they can update their system about which customers paid and didn't pay, might be late. So those are some of the other treasury services we have. Think about a company with 15,000 employees, or 100 employees, it doesn't matter. Think about payroll, which historically was a treasury function. How are you going to pay these 15,000 people? Well, we already have commercial customers, we have their bank accounts, we have access to their money if they grant us that access. They can send us a file every week, whatever their payroll is, every 2 weeks, with here's a list of my employees, here's how much we have to pay them on Friday, and here's a list of their bank accounts, so we can do direct deposit. So in effect, and it's called an automated clearinghouse product, or ACH. That file where we send out, in effect, 15,000 direct debits or direct deposits. So the fact that we can give immediate credit through our safe machines or through some other product we offer gives the customer immediate credit, obviously. If you're thinking one 7-Eleven, it's no big deal. We have retail customers that have thousands of stores. And it is a big deal whether they get interest on that money immediately or whether it takes a day to process before they start it. But there are also liquidity issues about, so what do you do with that money at the end of the day? You know, we all know what a savings account pays, which is absolutely nothing. But we offer a product called Sweep Product. We'll take, every day we can sweep those, call them receiving accounts, and invest the money any way the company has told us to. In certain investments, whatever it might be, that generate the kind of returns that they want. So we offer that Sweep product too. And the one other thing as an example I'll offer is those safe devices that are in machines. Not only do they give credit, but many of them are recyclers. So acting like an ATM, the next day when that store manager needs money to run the shop, fill the tills, he can actually take money out. It's an immediate withdrawal from the account. And it reduces their operational risk dramatically because they're not going to the bank to get cash to bring back. So in general, that's what a treasury management suite of products is. And Janelle will go through a list with you of a whole lot more. But simplistically, that's what they are.
Okay.
And again, they're there because they help, as we have listed up here. And a lot of these things are important as you think about what we're going to go on with. It's a way to collect the funds faster. There's a lot of protection. One piece I didn't talk about is we can do reporting with every one of these products. And the customer doesn't have to have staff. When you're getting 40 million payments a month, it really matters about payment timing and cadence. It matters about late fees. It matters. And timing is vitally important because these treasury and finance departments are trying to project their revenue because they may be publicly held or some other reason that they need to do that. They may have other commitments from other banks as far as lending, covenants, those kinds of things. We can give them all that reporting so they don't have to worry about it. Okay? All right. So the money in effect, you go back to that 7-Eleven, that cash in the machine, out of the machine, it's the working capital for that store. And you think more broadly about the working capital of the company. As we talk about why controlling your money is so vital, money is what allows you to build your inventory. It's what allows you to take your inventory cost, all your other costs, you figure out what your receivables are, what are you expecting from your customers. You think about what do you owe suppliers, and I tell you, we actually handle an awful lot of payable products where we actually are the ones who pay our customers' suppliers for them. Not only do they not build the staffs to take money in, but in effect they don't build the staffs to take money out or send money out. We do that. And what you end up with is working capital. Now, Greenwich Associates is a national service, I guess, a survey company that we get a lot of information from related to customer experience and other things that we use as a way to help drive our business strategies. This is just some information to show you that cash flow is critical and it is a top-of-mind issue amongst owners and executives. And what's interesting is there's not a whole lot of variance between small businesses and mid-sized businesses. Managing your working capital is vital to a business, whether it's big or small. And if we can figure out a way, and you'll understand this more too as you see the problem we're going to talk about, how we differ, everything I described to you, just about every other financial institution can do it too. So the ways you differentiate yourself are in your service delivery, are you performing excellently, and getting everything right every time, and in some of the reporting ways, and sometimes the ways that you can combine these products so you can give customers, in effect, the benefit of having that money a day early, let's say. Okay. So this is just an example, because we'll use some terms of various types of products. So on the left, you'll see receivables. I mean, this is real simple, guys. Receivables is the company receiving money. Money coming in through invoicing, collections, reconciliation. We expected to get $25 from this person, we got $27. Why is that? We sent out an invoice for $32, they sent us $34, they sent us $29. Why is that? How do we reconcile all that? If we are handling these receivable channels, we can give a fully integrated view to the customer of all of their inflow of money. Which, as we talked about on that last slide, is vitally important to all executives. On the right are the payables. At the same time they're trying to manage what's coming in, they're managing what's going out. What are they buying under purchase orders for capital equipment, everything from capital equipment to catering. And those of you in business already understand that food is the most important item that any company buys, and catering shows up everywhere. Payables management, disbursements, again, reconciliation with those things. Those are the payables suite. How those things combine, and whether you have a net positive there, are the liquidity and account services in the middle. Yeah. What are you going to do with that money? How are you going to invest it? What we love is by having this suite of products with a customer, We can also help them identify their short and long-term lending needs. And this is a great entree or a companion product to larger lending relationships with customers, which is very attractive for us. Is you?
That's it.
Good. Okay, and now I'm going to turn it over to Janelle, because I took my 15 minutes and she's going to take yours.
All right, so I wanted to kind of ease into my next slide and kind of connect the slide that Jim last showed around here's payables and receivables at a high level to give you an idea of the types of products that we have within there. Really the message is here that there are so many options. Treasury management is far more complex than I ever thought. Banking is far more complex and interesting than I would have ever thought it was. I told you guys that I was in the IT world. When I came out, the whole thing was, do you want to go to Wachovia and do voice over IP, or do you want to go to Nortel Networks and do something from a telephony standpoint? I went down the telephony path because I thought thinking clearly can't be all that exciting. I think this slide, as well as what Jim shared and what I'll share with you, is just highlight some of the complexities and how this is far more complicated for our customers and managing and